Imagine standing at the doorstep of the greatest mystery known to humanity, your own consciousness. What is it that truly makes you aware? Your thoughts, your feelings, the very essence of what it means to be you are housed in a mass of tissue and neurons weighing roughly 3 pounds. Yet, this marvel remains a profound riddle. Consciousness is often described as the state of being aware of and able to think about one's own existence, sensations, thoughts, and surroundings. However, defining consciousness is as slippery as trying to hold water in your hands. Scientists have long debated what it means to be conscious and how consciousness arises from the complex biological processes occurring in our brain. To understand the enigma of consciousness, we first need to examine the structure of the brain. The brain comprises dozens of regions, each with its own specific functions, working together like a finely tuned orchestra. However, the relationship between the physical brain and subjective experiences, the qualia, remains elusive. Philosophers and neuroscientists alike have grappled with questions like, what is the relationship between the brain and the mind? One prominent theory is known as the Integrated Information Theory, IIT, proposed by neuroscientist Giulio Tononi. This theory posits that consciousness arises from the integration of information processed by various parts of the brain. It suggests that the more interconnected and integrated a system, the higher its consciousness. According to IIT, a rock has far less consciousness than a complex organism like a human. Yet, this insight opens the door to new questions. If consciousness is a spectrum, are there states of consciousness that we have yet to understand? One particularly captivating case is that of patients in a vegetative state. Studies have shown that some of these patients can display signs of awareness through advanced brain imaging techniques like functional MRI. For example, researchers used brain scans to ask patients to imagine playing tennis or walking through their homes. Amazingly, responses were recorded that matched those of healthy individuals. These findings raise a profound ethical dilemma. If some of these patients are more aware than previously thought, what does that mean for our understanding of consciousness and the rights of those unable to communicate? As we continue to explore the enigma of consciousness, we find ourselves at the nexus of neuroscience, philosophy, and ethics, each questioning what it truly means to be alive and aware. But this is just the beginning. As we delve deeper into the workings of the brain, we will uncover more mysteries that challenge our understanding of what makes us human. How do we process memories? What happens to our cognition when we suffer brain injury? These questions are critical as we embark on an exploration of human consciousness in the chapters that follow. Hold on to your curiosity, because the next chapter is bound to reveal astonishing insights into our memory's workings. Memory serves as the cornerstone of human experience. It's our mind's time machine, allowing us to travel back to cherished moments or envision future possibilities. Yet, despite our reliance on it, memory is fraught with mysteries and imperfections. Just how reliable is our memory? What intricacies lie within our ability to recollect events from years past? Our understanding of memory categorizes it into short-term and long-term systems, but the mechanisms at play reveal a labyrinth of complications. Short-term memory, or working memory, allows us to hold a limited amount of information temporarily. It's like a mental whiteboard, where we jot down essential details until we no longer need them. This capacity is often measured by the magical number 7 plus or minus 2, a concept introduced by psychologist George A. Miller in the 1950s, which suggests that the average number of objects an individual can hold in working memory is about 7. Yet, this rule is not as rigid as it sounds. Studies have shown that this capacity can vary drastically depending on factors such as attention and emotional significance. For example, when individuals experience a traumatic event, the memory of that event often becomes deeply imprinted, transcending the limits of short-term retention. This raises the question, are our memories more reliable than we think, or are they susceptible to distortions? Long-term memory, on the other hand, allows us to retain information for extended periods, years, decades, and even a lifetime. It is further divided into explicit memory and implicit memory. Explicit memory involves conscious recall of facts and events, while implicit memory refers to learned skills and conditioned responses, often without conscious awareness. This duality opens up intriguing possibilities. How does implicit memory influence our perceptions and decision-making? One famous case study that highlights the complexities of memory is that of H.M. Henry Molaison, who underwent surgery in the 1950s to alleviate severe epilepsy. The procedure involved removing portions of his hippocampus, a key region for memory formation. While H.M. recovered from epilepsy, he lost his ability to form new long-term memories. As a result, he lived in a continuous present, unable to remember people he met or events that occurred after his surgery. His case provided groundbreaking insights into the nature of memory, illustrating how specific areas of the brain dictate different types of memory functions. Another fascinating aspect of memory is the phenomenon of false memories. Studies conducted by Elizabeth Loftus demonstrate that our recollections can be manipulated, influenced by leading questions and the incorporation of misleading information. This could have profound implications, especially in legal contexts, where eyewitness testimony is often pivotal. As we navigate through our memories, they often feel like an accurate representation of our past. Yet, the truth is far more complex. Memory is not a recording but rather a reconstructive process, one that can be influenced by emotions, experiences, and even societal factors. This realization urges us to contemplate the nature of truth and how it shapes our identity. In our continuing exploration of the brain, we will also delve into extraordinary adaptations, how the brain rewires itself following injuries. Stay with us as we uncover the magic of neuroplasticity and the stunning capabilities of the human brain to adapt and heal. Neuroplasticity, it's a term that holds the keys to understanding how our brains adapt and grow throughout our lives. Once thought to be a fixed organ, research now shows that the brain can reorganize itself in response to learning, experience, or even injury. This remarkable ability can help explain why individuals can recover functions after devastating brain injuries and why new skills can be acquired at any age. One of the most inspiring examples of neuroplasticity comes from the world of stroke rehabilitation. When a person suffers a stroke, the flow of blood to the brain is disrupted, leading to damage in specific areas linked to movement or speech. However, the brain's adaptive nature means that other regions can often compensate for these lost functions over time. A case that exemplifies neuroplasticity is that of a young woman named Sarah, who suffered a stroke in her 20s. Following intensive rehabilitation, Sarah was able to regain the ability to walk, speak, and even return to her job as a speech therapist, despite being told she might never achieve such feats. Her brain created new neural pathways, effectively bypassing the damaged areas and allowing her the chance to rebuild her life. The concept of neuroplasticity does not only apply to recovery from injury, it is also pivotal in learning and memory. When we learn a new skill, such as playing an instrument or mastering a new language, our brains adjust by forming new synapses, connections between neurons that represent information. This dynamic process allows us to retain knowledge and adapt to unfamiliar tasks. Interestingly, research has shown that neuroplasticity can be encouraged through various methods. Activities like meditation, physical exercise, and challenging mental tasks enhance the neuroplastic capacity of our brains. A study published in the journal Neuropsychology revealed that regular physical activity increases the volume of the hippocampus, a region associated with memory and learning, leading to improved cognitive function. Moreover, social interactions also play a critical role. Engaging in meaningful conversations and connections can stimulate brain activity and foster a healthy, adaptable mind. One noteworthy example is the study of older adults who remain socially active. They exhibit a reduced risk of cognitive decline, showcasing the profound connection between socialization and neuroplasticity. Yet, neuroplasticity also has a downside. It can lead to maladaptive patterns, such as chronic pain or addiction, where the brain's ability to change creates a cycle of harmful behavior. Understanding these challenges is crucial as we navigate the complexities of how our brains adapt. As we wrap up our exploration of neuroplasticity, we see how it illuminates the potential for growth throughout our lives. But do not get too comfortable, as the next chapter will reveal the dark side of brain injuries, where the mystery of cognitive functions comes to life through real stories of resilience and recovery that will leave you at the edge of your seat. The human brain, our most vital organ, can also be our greatest adversary, particularly when injury strikes. Brain injuries can disrupt not only our physical abilities but also our cognitive functions, altering who we are at our core. Understanding the profound effects of brain injuries can unveil the intricate interplay between brain health and identity. One poignant example comes from Phineas Gage, a railroad construction foreman in the 1800s who survived a horrific accident when a metal rod accidentally pierced through his skull. Remarkably, Gage lived, but the incident irrevocably altered his personality. Once responsible and socially adept, he became impulsive and irresponsible, showcasing the devastating effects of brain injury on personality and behavior. Gage's case laid the groundwork for the understanding of the frontal lobe's role in decision-making and social behavior. Not all brain injuries are as dramatic as Gage's. Contemporary research is delving into the effects of concussions, particularly among athletes. For instance, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, has emerged as a serious concern in contact sports like football and boxing. CTE is a neurodegenerative disease caused by repeated head trauma, leading to cognitive decline, memory issues, depression, and even suicidal tendencies. High-profile cases, such as that of NFL player Aaron Hernandez, have brought attention to the grim reality of CTE, emphasizing the urgent need for more protective measures in sports. The lasting impacts of brain injuries extend far beyond the realm of violence. They reach into our everyday lives, impacting how we think, feel, and act. Furthermore, the psychological repercussions of brain injuries can often be overlooked. Patients with traumatic brain injuries, TBI, frequently experience emotional dysregulation, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Recognizing and addressing these psychological factors is essential for holistic recovery. The story of a TBI survivor named Mike, who battles chronic pain and emotional disturbances after a car accident, highlights the importance of mental health resources in the healing process. By engaging in cognitive behavioral therapy and support groups, Mike began the challenging journey toward reclaiming his sense of self. The relationship between brain injuries and identity is a complex interplay of physical and mental resilience. As we probe further into these realities, we must ask ourselves, how do we define personhood when memory and personality can be compromised? The potential for recovery and rehabilitation exists, but it requires an understanding of the myriad ways our brains can be affected. As we move forward, we will discover the extraordinary ways in which the brain can heal and the hope that comes from personal stories of resilience. Stay tuned as the next chapter unfolds, revealing the astounding truths about the brain's recovery mechanisms. As we stand at the precipice of the future, the prospects of ongoing brain research are promising and exhilarating. The mysteries of the human brain beckon scientists to innovate and explore new frontiers that once seemed impossible. While we have made considerable strides, the path ahead is filled with uncharted territory, with advances that may one day redefine our understanding of consciousness, memory, and cognition. One such advancement is in the field of brain-computer interfaces, BCIs. Imagine a world where individuals with mobility impairments can control devices with their thoughts alone. Companies like Neuralink, founded by Elon Musk, are pioneering work to develop brain implants that connect to external devices. Early trials involving monkeys have shown promising results where they were able to control robotic arms merely through their brain activity. If successful, BCIs could revolutionize medical treatment and provide an avenue for those suffering from paralysis or neurological disorders. Another exciting area of research is neurogenesis, the process through which new neurons are formed in the brain. For years, it was believed that neurogenesis only occurred during developmental stages. However, recent studies have demonstrated that neurogenesis persists in certain brain regions, particularly the hippocampus, even in adults. This discovery paves the way for potential interventions that stimulate neurogenesis to improve learning and memory. Moreover, the integration of artificial intelligence into brain research has enabled scientists to analyze vast amounts of data, offering insights into the intricate patterns of neural activity. Machine learning algorithms are now capable of predicting neurological disorders before they manifest, potentially leading to early interventions and personalized treatment approaches. As we venture into the realms of advanced imaging techniques, such as diffusion tensor imaging, DTI, we can visualize the connections between different brain regions in unprecedented detail. This tech has unveiled the brain's structural integrity and connectivity, providing valuable insights into how various neurological conditions affect brain function. Notably, such imaging can aid in understanding conditions like Alzheimer's disease, enabling researchers to track its progression and develop targeted treatments. Yet, despite these advancements, ethical considerations loom large. As we delve deeper into the biology of consciousness and memory, we must grapple with questions surrounding privacy, autonomy, and the implications of altering brain capacities. As brain-computer interfaces advance, concerns over data security and user consent emerge. The future of brain research is not solely about discovery, it also requires us to navigate the intricate ethical landscape. In conclusion, the future of brain research is a beacon of hope and a harbinger of complexity. While we continue to unravel the brain's mysteries, we must do so with caution and ethical mindfulness. As we conclude this first part of our journey into the human brain, we are reminded that we have only scratched the surface. The next chapters await us with more extraordinary revelations about the wonders of the mind. Stay on this journey with us, as we will continue to explore the intricate pathways of human consciousness, memory, and identity in the chapters to come. Imagine drifting into a world where the rules of reality fade away and anything is possible. A world where your dreams play out like vivid movies, full of strange scenarios, bizarre characters, and even emotional moments that can leave you changed upon waking. Welcome to the intriguing world of dreams. Dreams have fascinated humanity for centuries, from ancient civilizations interpreting them as messages from the gods, to modern psychologists analyzing their meanings. But what exactly are dreams, and why do we experience them? At night, as we sleep, our brains undergo different sleep cycles, especially during REM, or rapid eye movement, sleep, which is when most dreaming occurs. During this time, our brains become incredibly active, almost as if we are awake, processing information, emotions, and experiences from our daily lives. But despite being so active, the scientific understanding of why we dream is still murky. There are several theories that attempt to decipher the purpose of dreams. One prominent theory is that dreaming serves a cognitive function by helping us process emotions and memories. For example, a study published in 2014 demonstrated that participants who had emotionally charged dreams were better at regulating their emotions the following day. This indicates that dreams may play a role in emotional resilience. Another fascinating aspect of dreams is lucid dreaming, where individuals become aware they are dreaming and can sometimes control the narrative. This phenomenon has been utilized in therapy, allowing individuals to confront fears in a safe environment. For instance, a clinical study showed that those who practiced lucid dreaming experienced a significant reduction in nightmares, transitioning from terrified participants to empowered dreamers. It's also worth mentioning the phenomenon of recurring dreams. These have been linked to unresolved issues or anxieties in waking life, serving as the brain's way of bringing attention to something needing resolution. For example, many students report dreams about taking exams, highlighting their stress regarding academic performance. The brain uses symbols and narrative constructs to deal with these pressures, which can lead to profound realizations once awake. Despite the many theories, the ultimate reason we dream remains elusive. Did dreams develop as a survival mechanism, perhaps enabling our ancestors to rehearse challenges, or are they a byproduct of our consciousness? We may never fully know. As we wake up from this nightly journey and step into the light of day, we can carry with us the lessons learned from our dreams and reflect on how they shape our waking experiences. But here's a gripping thought: what if the boundaries between dreams and reality aren't as clear as we think? What if our understanding of consciousness could lead us to unexplored dimensions? In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into these exciting possibilities. What if I told you that your brain is not the only organ influencing your mood and behavior? Emerging research has uncovered a compelling connection between the brain and the gut, a relationship so profound that it has the potential to reshape our understanding of mental health. This connection is often referred to as the gut-brain axis. The human gut houses around 100 trillion microorganisms, collectively known as the gut microbiome. This complex ecosystem influences various bodily functions, including digestion and even immune responses. Recent studies suggest that these microbes can also release neurotransmitters, such as serotonin, which is often termed the feel-good chemical because of its impact on mood regulation. Surprising, isn't it? More than 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut. Research has shown that individuals suffering from gastrointestinal disorders, such as irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, often experience higher levels of anxiety and depression. One fascinating case study involved patients with IBS who underwent dietary changes aimed at modifying their gut microbiota. Remarkably, many reported not only improvement in gut symptoms but also reductions in anxiety and depressive symptoms. But how does this work? It appears that the vagus nerve, which connects the brain to the gut, plays a significant role in this communication. Signals from the gut can influence brain function and behavior, and vice versa. This bidirectional communication suggests that maintaining a healthy gut could be integral for our mental well-being. The implications of this research are staggering. For instance, dietary interventions focusing on probiotics, prebiotics, and fermented foods are being explored as potential treatments for mental health conditions. Some studies have indicated that participants who consume probiotics might not only improve gut health but also experience a decrease in depression and anxiety symptoms. Yet, while these findings are promising, the field of nutraceuticals and their impact on mental health is still in its infancy. More robust clinical trials are required to better understand these relationships. Meanwhile, the concept of food as medicine is gaining traction, encouraging individuals to consider how their dietary choices may affect not just their physical health, but also their mental state. As we unravel the mysteries of the brain-gut connection, we begin to appreciate the intricate web of interactions shaping our emotional and cognitive landscapes. What if nurturing our gut health could lead to extraordinary improvements in mental health? The possibilities are exciting, and they lead us directly to our next exploration: the power of intuition and instinct, which are rooted in these very mysterious processes. Have you ever experienced a gut feeling, an instinct that guided you in a direction without any logical explanation? Intuition is often described as the brain's quick, automatic, and unconscious decision-making process, and it remains one of the most intriguing aspects of human cognition. But how does it work? What is the science behind this mysterious phenomenon? Research indicates that intuition arises from the brain's ability to rapidly process vast amounts of information. It's a culmination of experiences, learned patterns, and emotional responses that shape our instinctual reactions. Cognitive neuroscientists propose that the brain often synthesizes data subconsciously, allowing us to arrive at conclusions without engaging in deliberate reasoning. A classic example of this can be found in the realm of expertise, such as chess players who, after years of practice, can instantly recognize winning positions without consciously thinking about it. Studies show that expert players often make decisions in a matter of seconds, relying on gut feelings honed through experience, while novices tend to overanalyze the situation. Further explorations have led researchers to investigate the role of emotions in intuition. Emotions can be viewed as a subconscious signal that might inform our decisions. For instance, when a person feels uneasy about a situation, this discomfort can serve as an intuitive warning. Practicing mindfulness can enhance our ability to listen to these internal signals, ultimately improving our intuition. However, intuition is not infallible. Cognitive biases can cloud judgment and lead us astray, prompting us to trust our gut inappropriately. For example, the confirmation bias may lead us to favor information that aligns with our pre-existing beliefs, disregarding alternative perspectives. Understanding this aspect can help us refine our judgment. A fascinating case study highlights this dilemma. An experienced firefighter rescued individuals from a burning building, relying on his instinctual understanding of danger. Yet, a moment of hesitation, triggered by fear, led to a near-miss situation. This incident showcased how intuition can sometimes conflict with survival instincts, making it a complex puzzle worthy of further exploration. The implications for decision-making across various fields are profound. From business leaders harnessing intuition to entrepreneurs engaging their instinctual judgments in high-stakes scenarios, our understanding of intuition can dramatically impact outcomes. As we delve deeper into the brain's mysteries, it is imperative to recognize how our decisions, guided by intuition, can transcend mere logic. We've learned that intuition has roots in our subconscious, shaping how we interpret the world around us. But as complex as intuition may be, the question remains, can we truly trust our instincts? While they offer valuable insights, balancing intuition with rational thought may be the key to navigating life's uncertainties. Coming up next, we will explore the very foundation of our reality, consciousness, and challenge everything we know about what it means to be aware. Now we reach the core of our journey, consciousness. What does it truly mean to be conscious? For centuries, philosophers, scientists, and thinkers alike have grappled with this profound question. Are we merely biological machines, or is there something more to our awareness? Traditional scientific approaches have struggled to define consciousness. How can one quantify or measure subjective experience? Recent advancements in neuroimaging have unveiled unprecedented insights into the neural correlates of consciousness. For example, functional MRI scans reveal patterns of brain activity corresponding to different conscious states. Research indicates that areas like the thalamus and prefrontal cortex play pivotal roles in generating conscious awareness. Yet, while these observations are groundbreaking, they merely scratch the surface of a deeply entrenched mystery. One particularly interesting angle in the study of consciousness is the concept of the hard problem, coined by philosopher David Chalmers. The hard problem posits that explaining how subjective experiences arise from physical brain activity remains an enigma. Why do we have experiences that feel personal, rich, and meaningful? This inquiry underlines how consciousness exists beyond the realm of empirical science. Fascinating case studies, such as near-death experiences and altered states of consciousness, provide additional layers to the puzzle. Many report feeling profound connections, heightened awareness, and a sense of detachment. Can these experiences hint at dimensions of consciousness that science has yet to explore? The implications are monumental, suggesting that consciousness may transcend our conventional understanding of reality. As we piece together the intricate mosaic of human consciousness, we must also consider the implications for our understanding of free will. Are our decisions shaped solely by biological processes, or is there room for authentic agency? This ongoing debate raises fundamental questions about morality, choice, and the essence of being. In recent years, advances in artificial intelligence raise another layer to the debate on consciousness. Could machines ever achieve consciousness? If so, what does it mean for the ethical treatment of intelligent beings? As we push boundaries, the convergence of neuroscience and technology leads us to question everything we thought we knew about the mind. As we conclude this exploration into the depths of the human brain, it is evident that we stand on the precipice of discovery. The mysteries of consciousness remind us that we know so little about ourselves. Perhaps the real question isn't just what consciousness is, but rather, how will our understanding of it shape our future? It is a journey that beckons us to dig deeper, to question boldly, and to embrace the unknown. And as we embark on this adventure, we might uncover the most profound truths about our existence. Emotions are an integral part of the human experience, yet they remain one of the most complex and least understood aspects of the brain. Scientists have long debated the origins and functions of emotions, seeking to understand not just what we feel, but why we feel it. In this chapter, we will explore the intricate relationship between emotions, the brain, and our behaviors. The limbic system, often dubbed the emotional brain, plays a crucial role in processing our emotions. This collection of structures, including the amygdala, hippocampus, and hypothalamus, collaborates to shape our emotional experiences. The amygdala, in particular, has received significant attention for its role in detecting fear and preparing the body for fight or flight responses. However, it isn't just about fear. The amygdala also participates in the processing of positive emotions such as joy and love. But what happens when these emotional pathways malfunction? Conditions like anxiety, depression, and PTSD illustrate a disruption in emotional processing. For instance, individuals with PTSD often experience heightened amygdala activity when confronted with reminders of their trauma, leading to overwhelming feelings of fear and anxiety. Interestingly, our emotions also play a pivotal role in decision-making. The somatic marker hypothesis, proposed by neuroscientist Antonio Damasio, suggests that emotions are crucial in guiding our choices. In his studies, Damasio discovered that patients with damage to the emotional centers of their brain struggled to make decisions, despite having intact cognitive functions. This demonstrates that emotions are not merely a byproduct of our thoughts, but foundational to human existence. Moreover, culture shapes how we express and regulate our emotions. Cross-cultural studies reveal that while basic emotions like happiness and sadness are universally recognized, the display rules governing these emotions can differ dramatically. For example, in some cultures, expressing joy may be encouraged, whereas in others, it may be viewed as inappropriate. As we navigate the complex interplay between emotions, behaviors, and decision-making, one thing becomes clear: emotions are powerful drivers of human experience. They influence our actions, shape our relationships, and color our perceptions of reality. In the next chapter, we will delve into the profound impact of social connections on our mental health and well-being. We will uncover how our brains are wired for connection and how social interactions can dramatically alter our brain chemistry. Our senses are the gateways through which we interact with the world, providing us with the information necessary to navigate our environment. Sensation and perception are two closely linked processes that allow us to make sense of the stimuli around us. Sensation refers to the process of receiving stimulus energies from our environment, while perception is the interpretation of those sensory inputs. From sight to sound, taste to touch, our sensory organs relay information to the brain, which then constructs our experience. However, this process is not as straightforward as it seems. Consider the phenomenon of sensory adaptation, the process by which our sensitivity to a constant stimulus diminishes over time. For example, when you enter a dark room, your eyes initially struggle to see, but within moments, they adjust, allowing you to perceive your surroundings. The brain's ability to perceive reality is also influenced by context and prior experiences. The famous Rubens vase optical illusion illustrates this point beautifully. Depending on how you view it, you might see either a vase or two faces intertwined. This demonstrates that perception is not merely about the information presented, but also about how our brains interpret that information based on context. Furthermore, the role of attention cannot be understated when discussing sensation and perception. The cocktail party effect, for instance, illustrates how we can focus on a single conversation in a crowded room, filtering out a plethora of other sounds. This ability to select and prioritize sensory input is a testament to the brain's remarkable processing power. The senses also interact in fascinating ways, leading to the phenomenon of synesthesia, where stimulation of one sensory pathway leads to automatic experiences in a second sensory pathway. For example, some individuals may see colors when they hear music. As we continue to unravel the complexities of sensation and perception, we begin to appreciate the brain's intricate design and its capacity to shape our experiences. In the next chapter, we will take a deeper dive into the remarkable role of intuition in our everyday decision-making, exploring how our brains make quick judgments and the factors influencing them. Music is a universal language that transcends cultural boundaries, communicating emotions and experiences in ways words often cannot express. But what exactly happens in our brains when we listen to music? This question delves deep into a fascinating realm, exploring how sound shapes our thoughts, feelings, and even our identity. Neuroscientific research has unveiled that listening to music engages multiple regions of the brain, including those associated with emotion, memory, and motor control. A compelling study conducted by Harvard University found that music activates the brain's reward center, releasing dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. This explains why hearing a favorite song can evoke powerful emotions and feelings of happiness. Moreover, music has therapeutic properties. Music therapy is increasingly recognized as an effective treatment for various conditions, from PTSD to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. For example, a study published in the Journal of Music Therapy revealed that patients with Alzheimer's showed improved cognitive function and mood after engaging with music. Interestingly, musical training can lead to structural changes in the brain. Research demonstrates that musicians tend to have larger volumes in areas of the brain associated with auditory processing and motor control. This phenomenon, known as neuroplasticity, illustrates how our experiences can physically alter our brains. The impact of music extends beyond individual experience. It also fosters social connections. Group activities such as singing or playing in a band enhance feelings of belonging and connection. Studies show that these shared musical experiences can lead to synchronized brain activity among participants, creating a sense of unity and shared emotion. Ultimately, music serves as a remarkable bridge between the brain and the emotional world, illustrating the profound ways sound can shape our experiences and connections. As we wrap up this chapter, prepare to dive into the enigma of intuition, where we will uncover how our brains make rapid assessments and the hidden processes behind our gut feelings. Language is one of the most distinctly human traits, yet how it manifests in the brain remains a captivating mystery. Every day, we engage in complex conversations, effortlessly switching from one idea to another, but what happens in our brains when we speak? The study of language and its neurological underpinnings has revealed fascinating truths. Researchers like Noam Chomsky proposed the idea of a universal grammar, suggesting that the ability to acquire language is hardwired into our brains. The Broca's area, located in the frontal lobe, is critical for speech production. Damage to this area can lead to Broca's aphasia, where individuals struggle to form complete sentences yet often retain the ability to understand language. On the other hand, the Wernicke's area deals with comprehension. When it suffers damage, individuals can speak fluently but produce nonsensical sentences, revealing the complexity of how language resides in the brain. Consider the case of a young girl named Jeannie, who was isolated for most of her childhood. Despite being introduced to language at a later age, her struggles with acquisition sparked debates on the critical period hypothesis. Would Jeannie have developed fully formed language skills if not for her isolation? Beyond the localization of language functions, recent research explores how our brain processes multiple languages. A study published in the journal Neuropsychology examined bilingual individuals and found that their brains showed greater gray matter density in areas associated with executive control. This illustrates how language impacts the brain's structure and functioning, showcasing the interconnectedness of cognitive abilities. Moreover, the evolution of language may provide insights into our prehistoric ancestors. Archaeological findings highlight that the development of language paralleled advances in social structures. Theories suggest that as early humans formed larger communities, the need for intricate communication led to the refinement of language skills. In summary, the brain's role in language is a multifaceted puzzle, revealing not only individual capabilities but also reflecting our evolutionary history. As we continue to covet a deeper understanding, what other insights will emerge from the intersection of language and neuroscience? This chapter offered a glimpse into the extraordinary processes underlying our ability to communicate, but the story of language and the brain is one that continues to unfold. Neurotransmitters are often referred to as the brain's chemical messengers, playing pivotal roles in how we think, feel, and behave. Yet, the complexity of how these chemicals interact and influence our mental states is still shrouded in mystery. Take dopamine, for example. Often linked to pleasure and reward, it drives our motivation and enjoyment levels. However, the intricacies of its functions extend far beyond mere happiness. Research shows that dopamine is crucial in regulating attention and learning. Its imbalance is often implicated in disorders such as ADHD and schizophrenia. In ADHD, lower levels of dopamine can result in difficulties with focus, emphasizing the need for a balanced neurotransmitter environment. Serotonin, on the other hand, is famously known as the feel-good neurotransmitter. But its role is more profound. It regulates mood, anxiety, and even our digestion. A fascinating case study is that of patients with severe depression. Researchers discovered that manipulating serotonin levels significantly affected their mood. This realization prompted new treatment avenues, including SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which have transformed the landscape of mental health. The relationship between neurotransmitters extends into the world of addiction. Substances like cocaine and opioids hijack the brain's reward system, flooding it with dopamine and creating temporary feelings of euphoria. Understanding how these chemicals work has opened the door to exploring addiction's psychological and physiological aspects. While our comprehension of these neurotransmitters deepens, significant gaps remain. A recent breakthrough in neuroscience research highlights the role of endocannabinoids, which are naturally occurring compounds in the brain that bind to cannabinoid receptors. These endocannabinoids are now recognized for their role in regulating mood, memory, and stress responses, leading researchers to investigate their potential therapeutic applications. In conclusion, the enigmatic world of neurotransmitters reveals a vast network of communication within our brains, shaping our experiences and behaviors in ways we are only beginning to understand. As we delve deeper into this chemical landscape, what unknown secrets await us, and how might they impact our mental health in the future? Brainwaves are a fascinating aspect of neuroscience, the rhythms that reflect our mental states, emotions, and levels of consciousness. These electrical impulses are crucial in understanding how the brain operates and responds to stimuli. Brainwaves are categorized into several types: delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. Each corresponds to different states of consciousness. Delta waves are associated with deep sleep, theta with relaxation and creativity, alpha with calmness, beta with active thinking, and gamma with high-level information processing. The discovery of these brainwaves highlights how interconnected our mental states are with our physical well-being. Consider a story from a sleep clinic studying patients with insomnia. Anomalies in their theta and delta waves were noted, which led researchers to develop tailored cognitive behavioral therapies to regulate their brainwave patterns. The results were positive, demonstrating how understanding brainwaves can improve mental health. Moreover, brainwave entrainment, the practice of using rhythmic stimuli to synchronize brainwaves, has gained popularity. Techniques like binaural beats aim to induce specific brainwave states for relaxation, creativity, or focus. While many people report positive outcomes, scientific evidence varies, leaving an air of intrigue surrounding its effectiveness. The intersection of brainwaves and technology has birthed neurofeedback, an innovative approach that trains individuals to modify their brainwave patterns. This method has shown promise in treating ADHD, anxiety, and PTSD. Imagine a child learning to decrease their beta waves to find calm and focus, or a trauma survivor using neurofeedback to manage their symptoms. As groundbreaking as these treatments are, questions remain about their long-term efficacy and ethical implications. In summation, brainwaves are not merely scientific phenomena, they are windows into our minds. They signify our transitions between states of consciousness, offering insights into our emotional and psychological landscapes. As we strive to decode these mysterious waves, what additional revelations might we encounter about the human experience? From the moment we wake up, our brains are in constant communication, not just with our bodies but also with our environment. This invisible dialogue takes place through a series of electrical and chemical signals that work together to create the tapestry of our daily experiences. Scientists have long been fascinated by how the brain sends and receives information, often described as a complex network of neurons firing in synchrony. But what about the signals we aren't consciously aware of? Let's embark on exploring this fascinating topic. At the heart of neural communication is a remarkable structure known as the synapse. This microscopic gap between neurons serves as the site where neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers, transmit signals to one another. The interaction can be likened to a conversation, with each neurotransmitter carrying specific information and instructions. For instance, dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter because of its role in pleasure and reward pathways. Research has shown that neurotransmitter activity can influence our mood, behavior, and even our physical health. A study published in the journal Nature found that individuals with higher dopamine levels tend to exhibit greater motivation and a more positive outlook on life. However, balance is crucial. Overactivity in dopamine pathways has been linked to conditions such as schizophrenia, revealing how delicate the dance of brain communication truly is. But there's more to this story. Communication in the brain goes beyond just chemical signals. The electrical activity generated by neurons, measured in brainwaves, can offer fascinating insights into our emotional and cognitive states. When we experience stress, our brainwaves shift from a calm alpha state to a frenetic beta state. In contrast, during deep meditation or sleep, our brainwaves slow down, entering delta states. Fascinatingly, scientists are using this information to design brain-computer interfaces that allow us to control devices with our thoughts. One notable case is that of a paralyzed patient who regained some control over movement through a brain implant that read these electrical signals. By learning how to communicate with the external world through thought, this patient embodies the future potential of our understanding of brain communication. Moreover, emerging studies indicate that our brains are constantly communicating with each other in subtle, often unnoticed ways. Research led by neuroscientist Dr. Yuri Hassan at Princeton University demonstrates that brain activity can synchronize between individuals when they engage in conversations, suggesting a shared neural space during exchanges. This opens up new avenues for understanding human interaction, emphasizing that communication is far more than words, it's a neuronal symphony. So, as we peel back the layers of how our brains communicate, it becomes clear that the mysteries of neural interactions are deeply tied to who we are as individuals and as social beings. This understanding could revolutionize everything from mental health treatments to our approach to learning and socializing. But what are the implications of these discoveries on our understanding of consciousness? Could the way our brains communicate inform the age-old questions about self-awareness? The journey is just beginning, and the answers might change the way we perceive our very existence. Learning is one of humanity's most complex cognitive processes, yet it remains shrouded in mystery. How does the brain transform new experiences into lasting memories? What mechanisms are at play when we acquire new skills or knowledge? Join us as we delve deep into the science of learning and how the brain decodes information. At the core of learning lies a fascinating process called synaptic plasticity, essentially the brain's ability to strengthen or weaken synapses based on activity levels. This adaptability allows for the incredible capacity to learn and unlearn. Research from neuroscientist Dr. Carla Schatz at Stanford University has shown that synaptic connections can change as we learn, which is crucial for memory formation. One of the most striking examples of this is the phenomenon known as long-term potentiation, or LTP. This is where repeated stimulation of a synapse strengthens the connection, making it easier for neurons to communicate. A landmark study on LTP in the early 90s demonstrated that mice trained in a learning task showed increased LTP in specific brain regions associated with memory and spatial navigation. But learning isn't just about forming new connections, it's also reliant on several fundamental processes, including attention, motivation, and emotion. It's been found that when we are motivated to learn, our brain releases neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, which enhances our cognitive functions and sharpening our focus. Consider the research done by Dr. John Marshall Reeve, who explored how engagement in learning environments can enhance productivity. In his findings, he proposes that students who feel connected to their subject matter tend to retain information better than those who do not, highlighting the emotional dimensions of learning. Additionally, the Pomodoro technique, which breaks learning down into intervals with short breaks, optimizes retention through repeated practice and boosts focus. This technique has roots in the understanding of cognitive load theory, which posits that our brains have a limited capacity to process information. However, learning is influenced not just by individual effort but by social interactions. Vygotsky's theory of social constructivism posits that collaborative learning enhances individual understanding. This is corroborated by modern studies showing that group discussions and peer teaching can significantly improve memory consolidation. Yet, learning patterns can vary distinctly from person to person, shaped by factors including genetics, environment, and even culture. Neuroscientific studies have uncovered differences in brain structures between individuals who excel in various types of learning. For example, some might have more robust connections in certain areas related to verbal memory, while others might show enhanced abilities in visual spatial tasks. As we continue to unravel the intricacies of how the brain learns, we open the door to transformative approaches in education, therapy, and personal development. What if we can harness this knowledge to customize learning experiences for each individual? The potential is there, but what ethical responsibilities come with it? This inquiry not only challenges how we teach but also how we connect the dots between cognition, emotion, and creativity in the learning process. Our brains are not only remarkable in their ability to learn and adapt, but they also harbor hidden influences that shape our perceptions and decisions, often without our conscious awareness. In this chapter, we explore the concept of unconscious bias and its profound impact on our lives, driven by the brain's underlying processes. Unconscious bias refers to the automatic judgments we make about people or situations based on unconscious stereotypes. These biases can affect everything from hiring practices to interpersonal relationships. The brain's structure plays a critical role in this phenomenon. Research in cognitive neuroscience shows that certain regions, particularly the amygdala, are closely linked to our emotional responses and decision-making. It processes threats and rewards instantaneously, often favoring rapid judgments over analytical thinking. As a result, our brains may unconsciously associate specific traits with particular groups, leading to biased outcomes. In a groundbreaking study conducted by Dr. Mazhar Banerjee at Harvard University, participants demonstrated unconscious preference for individuals of their own racial background, even when they identified as egalitarian. The implicit association test, developed by Banerjee and her colleagues, has revealed that biases can operate below the level of conscious awareness. Furthermore, research from the University of Chicago found that people tend to make rapid decisions based on first impressions, further indicating how our brains often rely on heuristics, mental shortcuts that allow for quick judgments, despite the potential for error. This reliance on heuristics can lead to misjudgments and reinforce existing stereotypes. The implications of unconscious bias are significant, especially in high-stakes environments like law enforcement and the judicial system. An alarming study published in Psychological Science indicated that police officers are more likely to perceive Black individuals as threats compared to white counterparts, illustrating how these biases can lead to tragic outcomes. Moreover, the workplace is not immune to these biases. A report by the American Psychological Association highlighted that women and minorities face systemic barriers due to unconscious bias in hiring and promotions, revealing a pattern of discrimination that persists unchecked. But understanding these biases does not end with recognition. The brain is also capable of change. Through interventions such as implicit bias training, individuals can learn to recognize their biases and actively work to counteract them. The challenge lies in translating this knowledge into practice. As we delve deeper into the neuroscience of unconscious bias, we may discover strategies to dismantle these biases and foster a more equitable society. Could our growing understanding of the brain transform not just our personal relationships but also the structures of our institutions? The implications are extensive, as addressing our unconscious biases could pave the way for more intentional and just decision-making. Deep within the folds of the human brain lies a realm often overlooked yet profoundly impactful, the unconscious mind. This hidden layer of our psyche, shrouded in mystery, influences our thoughts, behaviors, and feelings more than we realize. But what exactly is the unconscious mind, and how does it shape our daily lives? In this chapter, we will delve into the depths of the human psyche, exploring the work of pioneers like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, who first posited theories about the unconscious. Freud famously described it as a repository of repressed feelings and hidden memories, while Jung introduced the notion of the collective unconscious, a set of shared memories and archetypes that connect humanity across cultures. Today, neuroimaging studies reveal that the unconscious mind is active even when we think we're consciously engaged. For instance, research by neuroscientists